This phenomenon suggests that the spacing of presentations results in significantly better learning than mass presentations over a specific amount of study time. Often, students are presented with information via mass presentations, meaning they're subject to repeated exposure of the same material within a short period of time, before being tested shortly after. Due to the short interval between the material presentation and test, performance is often high. This may result in both teachers and students inaccurately presuming that the student has acquired a mastery understanding of the information, because typically one concludes that high test scores must mean you have learnt the material well. In fact, this is not the case and has been referred to as the illusion of competence. When tested directly after learning, information is still readily available in the primary memory store and has not yet been successfully transferred to our long-term memory. Due to false belief, we are unlikely to revisit this material for a long time, if at all, and therefore limit the likelihood it will be transferred to long-term memory. When provided with the same information over intervals of spaced presentations, students should show higher levels of retention at test, as the information has had sufficient opportunity to be transferred to the long-term memory store.
This phenomenon was recognised as early as 1885 by Hermann Ebbinghaus, who was known for his influential work looking at memory. He discovered that you can recall more syllables over a spaced period of time, for instance, a few days, than from mass presentations over a single period of time. Harry Barrett found that some learning was maintained for up to 25 years, despite minimal rehearsal. He claimed that this was related to the amount and distribution of original practice. In 1988, Dempster reported 9 factors that he claimed obstruct the application of spaced effects in the classroom. One impediment was when referring to the spacing effect, it is often confused with another important principle of learning, known as the testing effect. It has been suggested that multiple tests will slow down the process of forgetting more than the administration of a single test. With spacing effects, however, the concern is with how the spacing of studying or presentations can aid long-term retention. Other impediments include lack of research and lack of classroom understanding. According to Barrick et al., there is little known about the long-term implications of spaced practice on retention and acquisition. They further suggested that the control lab studies provided over a short period of time cannot account for learning that takes place over years. Based on short-term studies alone, it is impossible to accurately interpret when and how learning occurs over a long period of time. Therefore, more research is needed to look into learning over longer retention intervals, and this is highly relevant in the current educational setting.
When exposed to a list of words and given the opportunity to recall the material directly after, acquisition will be high. The student will appear to have a good overall knowledge of the material initially, but this will soon be lost. When exposed to the same material, but provided with spaced opportunities to revisit the material over several days, acquisition will be before to begin, but with the advantage that the individual is much more likely to retain the information over a longer interval of time.
Students who receive immediate high grades produced by mass learning are more inclined to view the teacher in a positive light and less likely to be dissatisfied with their education, despite there being a lack of knowledge retention over a longer period. Arguably, in this way education appears to be more concerned with grade scores, which is linked with performance than learning. Due to the fluctuation of research in this area, there appears to be a lack of evidence to apply spaced effects in the modern classroom. A regrowth in this area is needed, especially when it is clear from the past research that if applied correctly, spacing effects could have strong beneficial outcomes for learning.